tonight, you here in the studio and everyone at home live. Because tonight, I'm going to take you on a magical journey through time. This tiny trunk contains all the magic of the past. And since we'll be going to many places, I like to travel light. But this is ridiculous. That's more like it. As you might have guessed, this is a magical trunk. It contains all the things we will need to travel back into history, but it's really not that much fun going alone, so what I need is a very special traveling companion.
Hi, Doug.
It's Brooke Shields! Shields, I haven't seen you since you came backstage. I think I was doing the magic show on Broadway then, right?
That's right, yes. I can still remember you on stage with that beautiful mountain lion. That's when I had my first childhood crush.
On me?
On the mountain lion. I loved animals. Even back then when I was 9 years old.
How long ago was that?
Ages ago.
Well, I'm really glad you could be back with me today because we're going to do some very special things. I don't have a mountain lion, but I do have 4 very large, ferocious tigers. Will that be all right?
That'll be fine.
Great. For the next hour, I'm going to take you on a magical journey through time and show you what magic was really like down through the ages. And I thought we'd start way back in ancient times.
You mean the 1950s?
We'll go a little further back than that, that's for sure. We'll be making 3 important stops on our journey tonight. And the first stop will be ancient China, the land for making fine silk. Oh, my assistant, the silk scarves, please.
Here they are.
Well, thank you.
Listen, Doug, Fonzie asked me if he could have those scarves when you're through with them. He said they'd make great grease rags.
Hey, you're Tom Bosley, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I tune in every week just to watch you on Happy Days.
Oh, really? That's funny. I thought I was the only one who did that.
Tom, it's so great to have such a fine actor like you on the show. Thank you for dropping by.
Well, thank you. You see, I'm really here for a couple of reasons. One is that I wanted to get the feeling of what it was like to do live television again, and this is live, isn't it?
Absolutely. What's the other reason?
Well, I heard you were going to get into a cage with 4 full-grown, ferocious tigers. Is that true?
Afraid so. It's very true.
Well, I just wanted to tell all my good friends in Detroit that tonight I'm not rooting for the Tigers.
I'm sure. They'll understand.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you later, Doug. You too, bro.
Thanks, Tom. See you later. Now for your first lesson in magic. Let's get back to ancient China and the fine silk. An illusion with a silk. And you folks at home can get your silk handkerchiefs out and do it along with me. Do exactly what I do and you'll do some magic. Good. Maybe some moths got in there with the silkworms. I don't know. Anything can happen live. We'll get back to China in a little while, but now I'd like to show you what to expect when we go to our next stop in medieval England. Do you know what medieval magicians were famous for?
Clear glass bowls and wooden poles.
Not really. Skilled magicians in medieval times were troubadours and jugglers, and used to balance things at will. They didn't just magish. Going great, huh?
What happened to the water?
Well, everyone knows water evaporates, even in medieval England. But now I'm going to take you to a place where water evaporates even faster. The final and simply the most amazing stop on our journey, ancient Egypt. Now, Brooke, I'd like you to just imagine that we're walking on the hot sands of the Sahara. The sun has been beating down upon us all day, and suddenly you see a vision.
I see it. It looks like an empty box with its sides folded down.
You must be out in the sun too long. What you really think is just an empty box is actually a mirage. Watch closely. That's really something to see. Stay with us, folks, and prepare to be amazed and astounded with some very extra special illusions for you that have never been performed before. It's going to be a very magical evening.
Doug Henning's World of Magic, starring Doug Henning. Guest star Brooke Shields. And special guest star Tom Bosley. Doug Henning's World of Magic, sponsored by Timex. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. More people buy Time.
Well, Brooke, how do you feel about the magic so far?
Oh, I love it. It's so much fun.
Well, it is fun, but that's only one part of magic. Down through the ages, magic has been used to inspire people to delve deeper into the mysteries of creation.
But it's still a lot of fun, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, the real fun part comes in not trying to figure out how all the illusions are done, but in just kind of feeling the wonder.
Well, I tell you, I don't know how you produced a camel out of thin air. But any man that can do that can produce a wardrobe for me, for our journey through time. I haven't a thing to wear.
Well, that's one thing that hasn't changed at all down through the ages, that's for sure. But no problem. Everything we need is right here in our magical trunk. And your passport is your imagination. Let's prepare for the first stop, ancient China.
Hi there, it's me again. Listen, did I hear someone mention China? Huh? Can I go along with you? I'm just crazy about Chinese food. Besides, it's getting so lonesome here in my dressing room.
I'm sorry, Tom, but this is only a two-seater trunk.
So, get rid of the kid. Listen, I'm much better company, and you know, I can introduce you to the fines.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's tempting, but I'm afraid not.
Okay, but you haven't seen the last of me.
I have a feeling we never should have opened that trunk. But since we did, let's get ready for our first stop on our journey, ancient China. And you have a beautiful, I guess that's a purple robe to put on in ancient China. You know, Brooke, the scariest part of this journey for me is that it's actually happening live right now. You know, there's the same time we're doing these, putting this makeup on, the audience at home is seeing it at exactly the same time. That means we only have one chance to shoot everything. All crazy things that happen up here are seen right at the right time. We never use any camera tricks or trick photography or anything like that. See if we can get these straight. Good. And another thing that is interesting about doing it live is we use these handheld cameras. They come in and around, and they see the illusions from all angles, and it really makes it much more magical.
Well, you know, I have great faith in you, because I know you can do anything you put your mind to.
Well, that's very encouraging, but, you know, I get a bit worried when I think about the end of the show with those ferocious tigers. You never know what the tigers are going to do.
Sure.
Okay, now we're all set to go, and all this talk reminds me of an ancient legend. It's a Chinese legend. Did you know that in ancient China they use magic to tell the story of their legends?
You mean like fairy tales?
Well, it's sort of, but it's a bit more elaborate. They use dance and music, and they put it all together with the magic, kind of the ballet of magic. It looks like that.
Ooh.
And like the story of the great emperor. Have you heard of Genji Li? Genji Li was a very powerful ruler and a great warrior. But the one person who could melt his heart was his beautiful young daughter, Princess Mei Ling. She was the apple of his eye, or as they used to say in those days, the kumquat of his eye. But there was one thing about the princess that saddened the emperor's heart beyond measure. She never smiled. This affliction so disturbed the emperor that he was moved to offer her hand in marriage to anyone who could make her smile. When word got out, suitors came from every corner of the country. There were acrobats, dancers, mimes, princes, and peasants from all over the world. They all tried their best, and they all failed. And when they failed, the emperor struck the ceremonial gong twice. Twice.
Oh,
And the suitors were banished from the kingdom forever. Then one day, so the legend goes, a young magician came to the palace. His name was Ling Far Chang, and his sole purpose was to try to make this princess smile and win her heart.
amazing? It's amazing. The gong's gong, the gang's all here, and the gal's got the giggles. So you've got nothing to fear.
I just love rhyming happy endings.
Well, it could be verse. Come on now, what do you say we go for some Chinese food, huh?
Okay, the egg rolls are on me. Let's go.
We're on a float down the beautiful Buffalo River.
Channel 3 in Omaha, KM-TV.
Well, Brooke, how do you like our little feast of Chinese magic?
Oh, it was wonderful. But for some reason, I'm already hungry for more of it.
You know, that happens sometimes, but we've got not that much time and some incredible wonders to see. Milady, hast thou ever been to merry old England?
No, I hasn't.
Wouldst thou care to?
If I couldst.
You couldst and you shouldst. What's that stuff, medieval smog? Woo! We would like to go, then goods. I shall transport you back to medieval times. I see now it's this medieval mud for your waif-like face. We're going back to a delightful fair in the Renaissance. You'll be a street waif, and I will be a roaming troubadour.
Is that going to be where all the 4 ferocious tigers are going to be hanging out?
Oh, that comes in a later part of the show. Methinks not right now, but I'm going to show you something that will actually knock thy doublets off, whatever those are.
Doublets? Lead on, McDoug.
Yea, verily, my little waif. Methinks we should have some companionship to eat our apple and to occupy ourselves whilst I am doing my ledger de man. Let us go out and find 2 people of noble stature. Hi, are you of noble stature? Yes. Thank you. Come on up here. Hi, you can come first. Fair, my good people. I am Malaprop, the magician. You have no doubt heard of me before?
Not before nor since.
Methinks my reputation seemeth to be hanging by a thread. So with a thread, I shall make my reputation. I have in my hand a piece of white thread, sort of skinny rope. I will now render it asunder. Young waif, would you please hold out thine's hand? perhaps thou art wondering how I became a troubadour. The question sometimes does come up. Here's how it happened. Once I was wandering through the streets, and a gypsy woman beckoned to me. She said, "Son, I have in my hand 1, 2, 3 knaves, and the ace of spades. All thou must do, young man, is keep thine eye on the ace of spades." She tooketh the ace and putteth it between the 2 knaves, saying, "Keep your eye on the ace." Then she tucketh one of the cards underneath, the other card underneath, and finally the last card underneath the other 2. And she saith to me, "Son, where is the ace? I will bet you 10 pennies that thou cannot find the ace." I was positive it was right there. Besides, I wanted to make some bread. So I pointed right there. She looked at me and said, "Son, thou art wrong. You're not paying attention. What I really have is 1, 2, 3 jacks. And this is the card that thou must watch." I was amazed, and I suggested that she do it again, this time with the cards faceth up. She tooketh the ace and putteth it right down betwixt the 2 knaves. And then she pulleth it out again and putteth it on top, a move to misdirect my attention. Then she tooketh one of the cards and putteth it underneath, then the other card underneath the other 2. And she saith to me, "Son, where's the ace?" Again, I was positive it was in the middle. And I wagered 50 pennies. It's a lot. That it was right between the 2 knaves. She saith to me, "Son, you're not paying attention. What I really have is 1, 2, 3 jacks. And this is a card that thou must watch." It looks like I am in trouble, but I have a plan. She taketh the ace and putteth it right down between the 2 knaves and say, "Keep thine eye on the ace." And then she slowly counted the cards from one hand to the other. Now, 'twas positive the ace was right betwixt the 2 knaves. But I was not going to be fooled this time. I pointed it over here. And I wager my whole purse, my life savings. Odds bodkins, I was wrong. She saith, "Son, I gave thy every chance in the world this time." Woo! Hey! Really getting warmed up now, folks. Having learned an expensive lesson, I was forced to fight fire with fire and use playing cards to make my living. We have 52 little assistants here, all completely different, with their own personality. Young lady, would you like to help me count the cards? Before we start, what is thy name?
Susan.
Susan. Tonight we dubbeth thee Lady Susan of the funny hat. Susan, help me count them. Ready now. 10, 20, 30, 40, 51, 52. Did you get 52? Say yes.
Yes.
Good. They're all there, but each one of these cards seemeth so anxious to serve me that it hops right out of the packet. And most of the time, they come right back. And one for Ricky J. Now, my young lady, wouldst thou render me the service of selecting one of these cards and pulleth it from its resting place? Say stop anywhere thine wants to.
Stop.
Right there. Good. Now look at that, this card. Taketh it out, s'il vous plaît? Good. Now I am going to tear the corner from the card so that thou will always remember this card. Hold at the corner there and hold this one for a tiny momento. Good. Now putteth the card right there and we will shuffle the cards, mixing them up, making it verily impossible to findeth your card. Now if I was in any other circumstances right now, I would use this glass to have a draught of wine to quench my thirst. But tonight, we are using a glass for loftier pursuits. I drop the deck into the glass, and with my trusty sword, I'm going to have more than wine flow from this glass. Rise up, I command thee, obedient pasteboards! Woo! like thee from the bottom of my deck. Did you write that line? No. I have a feeling right now of a small tinge of creativity welling up inside of me. Wouldst thou come and care to witness while I create the world's smallest magician? And thou mayest help me by introducing the tiny fellow.
And now, me lords and my ladies, direct from the Royal Court of Small Claims, a short exhibition by the tiny prince of prestidigitation, Sir Tiny Tom of Bosley.
Lords and my ladies, a display of digital dexterity designed to delight, dazzle, and disarm. No, disarm. I have spent many years of practice and self-denial training my left index finger to perform two astounding feats. The first is an illusion of magic. Now watch closely. The second is a feat of great physical strength. But before I proceed, I must first limber up my digit. And now, watch the in disbelief as I stand on one finger. Just kidding. Now, watch. And now for my grand finale, I shall now putteth myself in a trance and perchance levitate myself to heights never before dreamed of. Listen, I would like to thank thee for having a hand in my act.
And I like to thank thee for having a foot in mine.
Yes, thou art welcome, but by the by, hast thou perchance seen any sign of ferocious tigers in this vicinity?
Nary a one. They cometh in the next portion of the show.
Good. In that caseth, when they cometh, I goeth.
Well, Brooke, how did you like merry old England?
Oh, it was fun, but now I'm ready to move on to ancient Egypt and all the excitement you promised.
Well, you're dressed for it, really, and when you're doing a live show like this, I always try to save the best for last, and that way I live to do the rest of the show.
Oh, good, because in case you hadn't noticed, you said earlier you would be facing 4 ferocious tigers this evening.
I seem to remember saying something like that.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they didn't show up in ancient China or in medieval England.
Not that I noticed.
Which means?
Well, I was just thinking maybe you'd like to go to someplace like Disneyland or New Jersey or something instead of ancient Egypt.
Come on, Doug, I really want to go to ancient Egypt. And besides, I've already got my hair done.
Well, it looks great. And I was only kidding because ancient Egypt was really fascinating. It had one of the most advanced and intriguing civilizations in the world. And we have some advanced and intriguing eyebrows for each of us here. Great. But, you know, it wasn't all that much fun unless you happened to be a high priest or a queen or a pharaoh or something like that. And even for them, life could get a little complicated.
Still,
There we go.
much better than lugging stones to build those pyramids with.
That's for sure. But look at it this way. The priest, although he was very powerful and was a great magician and could do amazing things, was still under the rule of the pharaoh.
Oh, the pharaoh had the best job of all of them.
Well, not really. The pharaoh was all-powerful, but he was afraid of the priest who could turn the people against him with his magic.
Okay, let's get to the good part. Tell me about the queen.
Well, the queen was young and beautiful and full of questions, just like you. And she wanted to learn the secrets of life from the high priest, but she also felt a loyalty towards her husband, the pharaoh.
What's a girl to do?
The plot thickens. Follow me, and we shall find out together as we relive the tale told in the ancient scrolls of Egypt. In the book of the Nile, that the innocent young queen came to the high priest in secret to be initiated into the magic of life. Let the initiation begin. The first lesson is that reality goes far beyond what the senses can perceive and what the mind can comprehend. The hidden nature of life is as infinite as the grains of sand in the desert. But just when you think you have something secret in the palm of your hand, it's gone. Only to appear somewhere else.
Can you teach me these secrets?
One cannot learn by watching. One must learn by doing. Centuries from now, men will look with wonder upon the Pharaoh's pyramids and try to imagine how they were constructed. But we do not wonder how they were constructed, we know. They were constructed by doing and not by watching. And now it is a time for you to learn the secret of the pyramids, to journey through time and space, but to do it from the inside out. magnificent statue.
So this is how you repay my kindness for making you a queen, huh?
I would do nothing to dishonor you, my master.
She has come to me to learn the secrets of nature and the universe and nothing else.
Before the noble statue of my ancestors, you shall die. I don't believe in your power, and the price of my disbelief shall be your life. Guards, take them away. Make sure the cage is secured. Now, raise the cage. See that the queen is tied to the post. Release the beasts. To the den and remove your protective cage, you shall let my pets have the tasty pleasure of your company. Behold, you are now trapped in the center of a tiger's den, from which there is no escape. Gaze upon your fate, magician. 4 hungry tigers are awaiting anxiously to devour you.
I do not fear your tigers, for I am cloaked in the magic of invincibility.
No magic on earth can protect you now. But why so quiet, magician, huh? Does the cat have your tongue? Well, if not now, they soon will. But I grow impatient for vengeance, and my tigers grow impatient for their dinner. Raise the cage!
Sure glad there's no fire in here. Or out here.
Doug, I can't believe you got out of that cage of tigers without one scratch. How'd you do it?
In the world of magic, nothing is impossible. But you know, a wise magician once said, one does not learn by watching, but by doing.
Yeah, well, in that case, I'm never going to learn that tiger trick. But one thing I did learn, never to share a dressing room with a camel.
That's good advice. I really hope that both of you enjoyed the show. You've been wonderful. Thank you very much for coming along.
It was the most fun I've ever had. I just wish I could take some of it home with me.
Well, you can, because this is a very special gift for you. It contains some wonderful surprises.
It's inside. It's empty.
No, it's not empty. It's really full of all possibilities. In order to create from this trunk, all you must do is use your imagination. And we'll use it now so we can put it together right here. There we go. Okay, just use your imagination and anything is possible. In fact, look at this. And I can make that real if you imagine a little bit harder. Look. Hello there. Thank you, Brooke. You've been wonderful in the show. And for Tom, we have a very funny little friend. Thank you,
Just
Tom.
like me, thank you.
I'd like to thank my 4 wonderful dancers, Tom, Helen, Nancy, Yako, and Mark. Thank you all very much. It's been wonderful. Here. Oh, my goodness. You can take this home and share it. And I'd like to thank all of you at home for being with me tonight and for sharing in my magical journey through time. This evening we've discovered the special magic of times past, but really every moment contains all possibilities. Live your life and enjoy the magic. Good night, may all your moments be filled with magic.